Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the City of Twinsburg regular council meeting for March 28th, 2023 to order. The time is 7:30 p.m. We're at the Twinsburg Government Center Council Chamber. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mrs. Labby? Here. Mr. Post?
Here.
Mr. Deeds?
Here.
Mr. Barr? Mrs. Walker?
All right, at this time, please join Mrs. Labby, and she will lead the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Father, you guide and govern everything with order and love. Look upon the assembly of our city's leaders and fill them with the spirit of your wisdom. May they always act in accordance with your will and their decisions be for the peace and well-being for all. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, due to the fact that both President and Vice President of Council are absent this evening, we will need a motion to appoint a Council President pro temp for tonight's meeting. May I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we elect Greg Bellin as a pro temp President of Council to serve for March 28th council meeting.
I'll second.
All right, Mr. Fury made the motion, Mr. Post made the second. Any discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes. All right, motion passes 5-0. Thank you. All right, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of the regular council meeting on March 14th, 2023?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Mr. Fury makes a motion, Mr. Post seconds. Any discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Approval of the minutes passes 5-0 as presented. Are there any presentations this evening?
We do have some, Mayor.
Okay. First we have Jim. Come on.
We're always looking to add to our fire family, and tonight's no exception, that we welcome Tim Stoik into the fire department as a firefighter paramedic part-time. Tim grew up in Parma Heights, Normandy. He's a full-time employee at the Sandusky Fire Department, lives in Willard. It's okay. This is his son Parker right here, and his fiancee Rachel, and he's here with his dad Jeff. Interestingly enough, he likes cars so much that he has the thickest personnel file I've ever seen because it came back with all the titles he's ever owned. So, real thick. Sorry, Tammy, you really had to have that in your office. But I thought it was humorous. I thought there was something wrong with the file, and it sort of kept going like, oh, it's all the cars he's ever owned. But welcome, and we'll get going with your swearing in.
We got to talk by the mic. After the word I, raise your right hand. After the word I, repeat after me. I
I, Tim Stoik,
do hereby solemnly swear
hereby solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
Constitution and laws
Constitution and laws
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
the Charter, ordinances, and resolutions
the Charter, ordinances, and resolutions
of the City of Twinsburg, Ohio,
of the City of Twinsburg, Ohio,
and I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
honestly,
honestly,
and impartially
and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
as a full-time firefighter paramedic
as a firefighter paramedic
of the Twinsburg Fire Department
of the Twinsburg Fire
to
Department
the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
as I shall answer to God.
as I shall answer to God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No?
He's like, no. For your clap.
Need you to sign.
Your son's going to sign.
Right.
Or he's going to stab you in the back with a pen.
That's
It's okay. He's cute.
Next, we have,
Yep.
here, we have Bob Schultz. Bob, come on up. Hi, Bob.
How you doing?
Welcome. Good. Good. All right, we have a little proclamation. Let me read this to you. For you. It says, from the office of the mayor, whereas the administration, council, and residents of the city of Twinsburg, Ohio, extend a heartfelt congratulations and best wishes to Bob Schultz on his retirement. And whereas Bob started with the city of Twinsburg on January 4th, 1999, after his 9 years of service in the city of Solon. Whereas Bob has made numerous notable accomplishments during his career in the sign shop. Bob took the sign shop to a new level by working with the Public Works Director and the Service Department management team. He took the city from buying signs to making all of our own signs, banners, stickers, flags, and many special event signs. Additionally, he even started adding vinyl to some of the city vehicles, and whereas Bob and the sign shop upgraded our park trail system with new signs and implemented a QR code readers for the trails. Bob has also been a part of our CDL in-house training team. Whereas Bob is known as an energetic, helpful peer who is always willing to offer assistance and willingness to help at any time. And whereas Bob loves motorcycles and dogs and will enjoy his retirement with his significant other, Deanna. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed that on behalf of the City Council and the Mayor, we would like to personally thank you, Bob Schultz, for your 24 years of service with the City of Twinsburg. We express our sincerest congratulations on this momentous occasion and wish Bob all the best in the years to come. In witness thereof, we do hereby affix our signatures this 28th day of March 2023. And it's signed by me and all the council. Bob, thank you so much for all your for everything you've done.
No, I'm
No, you're good. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Next, we have another proclamation. This one's not such a happy occasion, but come over to. Okay, this is a proclamation from the mayor's office. It says, whereas the administration, council, and residents of the city of Twinsburg, Ohio, wish to extend sympathy to the family of Michael Gillen and express gratitude for his work on the Architecture Review Board with the city of Twinsburg. Whereas Michael Gillen was born on October 9, 1970 in Garfield Heights to Maria Daniels and Hugh Gillen, and whereas Michael Gillen was the proud father of Cameron Gillen, coaching her softball team every summer, being sure to keep every trophy, jersey, and MVP award she ever earned. And devoted partner to Tiffany Brenner for 6 years, with whom he enjoyed hiking and exploring the national parks. And whereas Michael Gillen was graduated from Bedford High School and a proud citizen of the city of Twinsburg for 18 years. Whereas Michael Gillen worked as a self-employed independent contractor in the flooring industry, Michael worked very hard every day connecting with customers to ensure they received the results that they envisioned. And whereas Michael Gillen was a devoted father, son, and partner, he was a dedicated tradesman and hobbyist. His hobbies include gun shows, going to Civil War reenactments, and seeing live music. Michael never met a person who didn't like him. He was a good neighbor and friend and will be deeply missed. And whereas now, therefore, we, Sam Scafidi, Mayor of the City of Twinsburg, and the members of City Council, as a community, will mourn with the family and continue the great work of Michael Gillen. And whereas I have hereunto subscribed my name and caused my official seal to be fixed to this 28th day of March 2023. And we really do extend our deepest, the sincerest condolences to you in the passing of Mike. I happen to know Mike very well for a long time, as well as the City Council. I know they all did, and our heartfelt condolences to you, on his passing, and he'll stay in our memory for a long time. So thank you for sharing him with us. Thank you. Also giving her his nameplate then when he sat up there. That's my cat. Okay.
All right, that it? Okay. We have a pretty packed agenda for this evening, and I know probably not everybody wants to sit through it, so we're going to take about a 5-minute recess, and we'll come back at 7:45 p.m. and start our meeting. All right, it is 7:45 p.m. and we will resume our meeting. Shannon, do we have any audience participation this evening?
Yes, we have one. Lori Facina?
Good evening.
Good evening. Mayor, council, clerk, law director, you ask us to put our faith and trust in the execution of your fiduciary duties to your citizens. You even swore oaths to acknowledge that pledge. And then, time and time again, you take actions that erode that trust. Such is the case with your vote on March 14th to hire ZoneCo at the last council meeting. More than one citizen asked you to share the deliverables or critical few objectives that were given to the candidates for the contract. No answer was given to those people. Then, just hours after the vote, a document was emailed to one of those citizens. I have it in my hand. It's here. This is a clear violation of the Sunshine Laws. This whole document should have been available to citizens coming into the council chambers prior to that vote, but it was not. Reading through the document, it is clear as to see why it was kept out of the hands of the citizens until the votes were cast. This is not about cleaning up confusion in the code, and I'm talking the whole code, but rather putting lipstick on the proverbial pig. Dress it up and take it to a vote in 2024 without anyone being the wiser. But that can't fly here. Because in fact, if you read the 30 pages that were given out after the vote, it is clear that it's fulfilling the downtown redevelopment plan, which we've been told was just conceptual and without mentioning the shadowy role of the CIC in that process. No, none of that should be happening until addressing the many elephants in the room. And just some of those elephants, at least 3 or more ordinances currently on the books, were not voted on, nor did they come from the Planning Commission. You can't slip them into the vote in 2024 and think that'll erase that they've been surreptitiously inserted into our code and held on the books for more than a few years and with immeasurable damage. Perhaps you should all read what I call the John Durst document. It's called Our Adopting Ordinance 1979, which is brilliantly worded and talks about legal entanglements if ordinances aren't taken care of. If you read it and distill it down, there are consequences for willful action. I'd like to appeal to your better selves to take a pause and understand why we can't blindly trust our elected officials to do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Shannon, anybody else this evening?
That's all we have.
All right. Moving on. Council communication and committee reports. Mr. Deeds, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Bellin. How are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so first off, I would like to congratulate the mayor and all of the department heads for a wonderful State of the City address last week. It was truly a great morning and a wonderful event for everyone, and came off without a hitch. And Mayor, I'm sure it was a lot easier to have all the department heads up there speaking. They did a wonderful job on your behalf.
They did. Thank you.
Secondly, there is a Jedi meeting coming up Monday, April 10th here in council chambers at 6 o'clock for anyone that would want to attend. And lastly, thanks to both negotiating groups on the on negotiating a new sergeant contract that we'll talk about and vote on later this afternoon. But thanks to both sides on working hard to get that done. That's it.
Thank you. Mrs. Labby, good evening.
Good evening, thank you. I attended the ARB meeting on Thursday, the 16th. The following cases were approved. 230308, assigned for Techie, Ohio, 8394-8934 Darrow Road. 230309, a new build at 10539 Ravenna Road. And 230314, signage for interlocks, 2026 Summit Commerce Parkway. The next ARB meeting will be April 6th at 6 p.m. I also set my alarm on the 23rd to come early for the mayor's first State of the City, which was done fantastically with all the department heads, and appreciate them all stepping up, and appreciate the mayor for doing a wonderful job and inviting us all, putting the city in a good light. This will be available on Community Focus for anyone to view had you missed the festivities. Next Wednesday's meeting, April 5th at 7 o'clock. Jedi, April 10th at 6 o'clock here in Chambers. And from Parks and Rec, tomorrow will be the announcement of the Rock the Park lineup. Tomorrow at 6:30 at Aaron and Moses. Anyone curious about what we'll be rocking to this summer? Picnic shelter rentals are now available, and also look for details of the new adult spring event, Alice in Twinsland, coming soon. In senior news, seniors have a Guardians game they need to sign up for on June 22nd. That would be all for me today.
Thank you. Mr. Post, good evening, sir.
Thank you, sir. So I also attended the State of the City, and I thought it was really, really well done, and I did like hearing from all the department heads. It was nice to just feel a lot of positivity that morning about what's going on with the city. So it's great to be a part of the city and be involved. So I'm glad to be here. I attended the Planning Commission meeting on March 20th. There was just one agenda item, and that was the Crown Hill Cemetery is building a columbarium complex, and it's pretty neat the way they're drawing. The drawings showed it, and it's very architecturally, it's really nice, and allows for more growth as well. So that's the only thing, and I will be making a motion at the end of the council meeting today for that, and it was approved 5-0 by planning. The Charter Review Commission. Charter Review is going to be kicking up into full gear here starting next month. We have back-to-back meetings April 13th, 18th, 27th, May 11th, May 25th, and potentially on June 6th. So we have a lot of meetings coming up. They are all at 6 o'clock here in council chambers, and they are open to anybody to, join and listen. So it's anyone's welcome. And that is 6 o'clock. Actually, all of our meetings are open to everybody. And that's all I have right now. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yep. Mr. Fury, good evening.
Thank you, and good evening. I'd like to give the finance report. February 2023 income tax receipts totaled $1.57 million compared to February of 2022 receipts, which were $1.62 million. This reflects a decrease of 5.4%, or about $92,000. Year-to-date income tax receipts total $6.309 million compared to year-to-date 2022 receipts in the amount of $5.884 million. This reflects an increase of 7.22%, or about $424,000 compared to last year. Refunds this month were in the amount of $18,600, and the net distribution for this month for individuals, net profit, and withholders collectively is $183,714. The next Finance Committee meeting will be held on April 25th of next month, and currently our unencumbered balance, or money that the city has in various funds, totals $37,772,000, and our ending balance is estimated to be $28,303,000. So we're in great financial shape. The decrease in those funds is basically because we're doing a significant amount of road work this year, and in our capital investments. I'd also like to congratulate Mayor Scafidi on his State of the City. I was not able to attend. I some family matters this month. My father passed away. I appreciate the support that I've gotten from the administration, from council, and from the residents, and sincerely appreciate that. And that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I too was at the State of the City. Mayor, you did a wonderful job, as well as the other department heads. Again, Mr. Fury said the Finance Committee did not meet this evening. The only item on our agenda this evening was going to be the budget, which we passed at our last council meeting. Next Public Works meeting will be on April 11th at 6 p.m. here in council chambers. And the next Safety Committee meeting will be on Tuesday, May the 9th at 6 p.m., also here in council chambers. Next up is the mayor's report. Good evening, sir.
Thank you, and good evening. A couple events that I attended that I wanted to share with everybody. We had, first one's our senior events. We had on St. Patrick's Day. We had the St. Patrick's Day lunch at the Senior Center, and then that following Monday we had the spring luncheon at the Senior Center as well. And as you guys know, that anybody that's been to any of those events, you know the seniors know how to make it a good time, and they certainly did. They really had a good time there. And Laura, of course, our senior coordinator, she does a fabulous job, and they just love her, and she loves them, and so it went very well. And I was just happy to be there and celebrate with them. On the 21st, I went to Wilcox, and that was their Reads Week, and I had the opportunity to read to the preschool class. And that was a little challenging because the preschool class, they have a hard time maybe sitting down, but these guys and gals were really good. The teacher put on some kind of exercise film before, and she made them jump and get all the wiggles out of them, she said. So they were not that wiggly, and they did a great job of sitting there listening. And I read a book to them, and it was a nice morning. And as everybody mentioned already, the State of the City was last week on the 23rd, and I decided to switch it up a little bit because I wanted to put a face of all of our department heads with the name that people don't usually get to see. Typically, the mayor will stand up there and give the entire report, and I thought, it would be nice to move it around a little bit and let everybody see who they're dealing with and who's running the departments of the city, anybody that they might call with a question or concern. And I just want to congratulate all the departments that were up there. They did a great job in representing their department and showing what their successes were last year and what their plans are for this year. So thank you publicly once again to the department heads. I appreciate all that they did. A few upcoming events that we have, I think one of them or two of them are mentioned already. Tomorrow night we have the Rock the Park kickoff at Glen Eagles Golf Course, and that's a free event. And truthfully, I got a sneak peek of the lineup for this year, and I think everybody's going to like it, and I think you'll enjoy this year's Rock the Park. Our kids' Easter egg roll. It will be at the community center from 11:30 to 12:30 on the 8th of April. And that'll be fun. There'll be fire trucks on the ground and so on. And I think it'll be a good time for all the kids that come out. This year on the 29th, the adult scavenger hunt is replacing this year the adult Easter egg hunt that we've typically had for several years. That was really popular. And we just thought we'd try something a little bit different this year. It's very similar. There'll be prizes and everything that you're used to having there. It's just got a little different flair on it. Instead of running through the woods and looking through eggs, it is a scavenger hunt. And I think everybody that comes out will enjoy it. And as soon as tickets went on sale, they really started to go, just like they did for the Easter egg hunt. On the 4th of June, they'll be coming up, and you'll be hearing a lot more about these, but I just thought I'd mention them all right now. We have a water safety rodeo, and that'll be at the Twinsburg Fitness Center. On the 10th of June, we have a family fun day, and that's at Tiger Stadium, and there'll be more information will be announced. And then on the 11th of June, on Sunday, we have the Twinsburg Duathlon, which is hosted by North Coast Racing. So as you see, we've got a lot of things coming up this year, this spring and into the summer happening here, and a lot of things that we've had already. And that's what I really like about Twinsburg is we have a lot of involvement with our community, and so it's nice to be. I'm just so proud to be the mayor of this community, and I just thank all the departments for all the hard work, and Jen for this is mostly out of her department, and I appreciate Jen as well. Other than that, that's all I have this evening, and thank you.
Absolutely. Any department heads this evening?
We do. Rebecca, were you going to say anything? You had nothing? Chief, you had nothing? Tammy, nothing? No reports.
All right.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, moving on to legislation. First up is Ordinance 29, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the city to both apply for and accept an energized community grant program administered through Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council and declaring an emergency.
At this time, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Ordinance 29, 2023 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
I will second.
Mrs. Labby seconds. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes?
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Suspension of the three reading rules passes 5-0. Make a motion to adopt Ordinance 29, 2023 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Any further discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Ordinance 29, 2023 passes as an emergency 5-0. Next up is Ordinance 34, 2023.
An ordinance amending Chapter 149 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Twinsburg regarding fees and deposits.
Make a motion to adopt Ordinance 34, 2023. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Deeds seconds. Any discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes?
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Ordinance 34, 2023 passes 5-0. Next up is Ordinance 43, 2023.
An ordinance amending Chapter 929 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Twinsburg regarding trees.
Ordinance 43, 2023 now stands on its second reading. Ordinance 44, 2023.
An ordinance amending Chapter 1174.05D and 1195.05D5L of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Twinsburg regarding driveway construction standards.
Ordinance 44, 2023 now stands on its second reading. Ordinance 45, 2023.
It's actually 46. Sorry, it's 46.
It's 40.
Oh, I'm sorry, 46. I apologize.
That's my fault.
It's wrong on my sheet. Ordinance 46, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of a vehicle for use by the wastewater department as previously approved through the capital improvement budget and declaring an emergency.
This time I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Ordinance 46, 2023 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Deeds seconds. The reason for the emergency is to allow for the purchase prior to the current contract price expiring and also to allow for the extensive build time. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Suspension of the three reading rule passes 5-0. I'd like to make a motion to adopt Ordinance 46, 2023 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I will second.
Mrs. Labby seconds. Any further discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Ordinance 46, 2023 passes as an emergency 5-0. Next up is Ordinance 47, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the purchase of vehicles and equipment for use by the Service Department as previously approved through the capital improvement budget and declaring an emergency.
This time I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Ordinance 47, 2023 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Reason for the emergency is to allow for the purchase prior to the current contract price expiring as the new contract price has a price increase. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Suspension of the three reading rule passes 5-0. Make a motion to adopt Ordinance 47, 2023 as an emergency. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Deeds seconds. Any further discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Ordinance 47, 2023 passes as an emergency 5-0. Next up is Ordinance 48, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Chagrin Valley Engineering to provide final plans for the Ravenna, Shepherd, Broadway, Richmond Road intersection project and declaring an emergency.
This time, I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place ordinance 48, 2023 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. The reason for the emergency is to keep the project moving on schedule. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Suspension of the three reading rule passes 5-0. Make a motion to adopt ordinance 48, 2023 as an emergency. May I have a second?
A second. Yield.
Mr. Deeds seconds. Any further discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Ordinance 48, 2023 passes as an emergency 5-0. Ordinance 49, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the continuation of various agreements under the Community Reinvestment Area Program created pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, Section 3735.66 for real property tax abatement.
Ordinance 49, 2023 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 50, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the continuation of various agreements to provide tax incentives under the terms and conditions of the Twinsburg Occupancy Program established by Ordinance 144, 2004.
Ordinance 50, 2023 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 51, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with 48 Hour Books to provide tax incentives under the terms and conditions of the Twinsburg Occupancy Program.
Ordinance 51, 2023 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 53, 2023. I'm sorry, 52.
1 second.
Is it 52 or is it, it's 53? I apologize.
No,
Ordinance 53, 2022. 2023.
2023.
Jeez.
point of order, 1 second.
We have a 52 also.
It is
There's a 52.
52.
That's the one that's on the box. We have 51,
It's in
52, and
box.
53.
52 is the amending the
Okay.
Twinsburg occupancy
There was a
program.
52.
There is, I'm
I
sorry,
believe there
That's
is
the
a
one.
52.
There is a 52.
there is a 52. Okay.
Do you want
It's
the-
in your,
Ordinance, okay.
Yeah, it's
Ordinance
in-
52, 2023.
and it'll be on your first reading tonight. So an ordinance amending the Twinsburg Occupancy Program agreements between the City of Twinsburg and Integral Incorporated as recommended by the Tax Incentive Review Council.
Ordinance 52, 2023 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 53, 2023.
An ordinance amending the Twinsburg Occupancy Program agreement between the City of Twinsburg and Cifron as recommended by the Tax Incentive Review Council.
Ordinance 53, 2023 now stands on its first reading. Ordinance 54, 2023.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with the Ohio Patrolmen's Benevolent Association Sergeants Unit and declaring an emergency.
At this time, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and place Ordinance 54, 2023 on its third and final reading. May I have a second?
I will second.
Mrs. Labby seconds. The reason for the emergency is to be able to enter into the contract as soon as possible. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Suspension of the three reading rule passes 5-0. Make a motion to adopt Ordinance 54, 2023 as an emergency. May I have a second?
A second again.
Mrs. Labby seconds. Any further discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Ordinance 54, 2023 passes 5-0 as an emergency. Next up is unfinished business, new business, and miscellaneous. Mr. Deeds.
None this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Post.
Yeah, a couple things. I just want to remind everybody that the Rotary is doing the parade of flags. There are 5 flags. You'll see the flags in people's yards, and there are 5 times throughout the year that you can get a flag put in your yard. It's $40, and you can go to twinsburgflags.com to order them. It's a great thing. It goes to support a lot of good causes. The Rotary does a lot of good in the city, and I'm proud to be a member of the Rotary. I also want to make a motion. I want to make a motion for approval of the site plan for construction of a columbarium complex at Crown Hill Cemetery, 8592 Darrow Road, pursuant to section 1147.08 as recommended for approval by the Planning Commission at their March 20th meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? No? Shannon?
Mr. Post?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Motion
all.
passes 5-0.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fury?
I'd like to congratulate Bob Schultz on his retirement this evening, and I think it was really nice that we celebrated Mike Gillen tonight. It was good to see Tiffany and Cameron, and I miss Mike. He was a good guy, and I got to serve with him on the ARB last year, so thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Labby?
Yes, also, I'd like to echo what Bill just said for Bob and Mike, but also just to congratulate the swearing in of Tim, is it Stoke?
I believe so. Stoik?
Stoik?
Stoik.
Okay. And again, condolences to Bill on the passing of his dad.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you. Just one thing for me. I've had a question recently from a couple of residents about solicitors, door-to-door solicitations in the city of Twinsburg. Spring is here and it tends to, they come out in droves. The city has not changed the policy. All solicitors in the city need to have a permit. If you go to the city's website, you can see not only the permitting process, but also the relevant ordinance. According to the site, there's actually only one permitted solicitor as of when I checked it the other day. So there also is no solicitation stickers available from the police station and here at City Hall as well. I can personally attest those have worked wonders over the years for me, having that sticker. So let's see.
So we're going to get some, right?
What's that?
So we're gonna
I don't
get
know.
some.
Well, they're there, yeah. Mr. Scafidi?
Thank you. I have nothing further tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Vizana?
Thank you. Nothing further.
Mrs. Collins?
Nothing, thank you.
All right. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Barr and Ms. Walker.
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Any discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
All right. They are excused 5-0. Now I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 8:10 p.m. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Labby?
Yes.
Mr. Deeds?
Yes.
Mr. Post?
Yes.
All right. That said, we are adjourned. Have a good evening, folks.
That was